Hey everyone, Rob here from Gunfather Milsim. Today I'm going to talk about the completion of my CYMA Platinum Series SR25 build, which is here. Now, I did a review on this a few months ago and decided to make a project out of it, try to build a DMR, basically building it around the version 2.5 gearbox that this gun has, because that gives you more volume and thus theoretically more power with less wear and tear. That was the goal anyway. This project has been a little bit of a nightmare. It took me a while to get to this point where it's actually working really well, and it's been several months. Part of the problem is I don't like just doing a review on a gun and shooting in my backyard and say, yeah, it's great. I actually want to get out and field it a couple times. Tried to field this one twice, only successfully fielded it once because of drama and whatnot. But the time I did field it, which was last week, it did shoot very well, worked great, great range, great accuracy, phenomenal performer. However, it took a lot of work and effort and drama to get it there, and I don't necessarily think your average player is going to want to put in that much work. So, and you'll see if you watch the review I did, I kind of said this might not be a good new player gun, and it really isn't. And a lot of the stuff that I brought up in the review that I thought, this might be a problem and it's going to break, and this might break in the future, I don't have a lot of faith in it. Yeah, all that shit broke. All that shit broke like within one game, just to be clear. So let's talk about the things that went wrong. First off, the stock. This is not the stock it came with. This is a Magpul stock. This is a Magpul Mo SL stock. I think these cost about 60 bucks. I'm not positive. I just had one lying around in a crate. Threw it on here. Why? Because the factory stock from CYMA was a piece of crap and it broke. While I was trying to upgrade the gun, it broke. Just the locking mechanism to lengthen it broke. So no surprise there. I just threw it away. Didn't bother repairing it. Other issue that I brought up in the review was the handguard. Now, I had reservations about the handguard because the only thing holding on was a tiny two little grub screws here. I didn't wait for that to fail. I just attempted to upgrade it right off the bat to Aero Precision handguard that I had lying around in M-Lock 1 because I'm a big fan of Aero Precision. And I try to use parts that I don't use anymore in my real steel guns on airsoft guns when I can. Now, I ran into an issue there, namely the Aero Precision bar barrel nut, this thing right here. Well, it's not quite deep enough inside here for the barrel threading on the upper receiver of the CYMA. And I mean, it's off like by maybe a 1/16 of an inch further that I gotta have this, milled out. That's probably gonna cost about 50 bucks to take it to a machinist and have it milled out. Also, I can use this rail system. Is that worth the trouble at this time? No. Will I probably do it in the future? Yeah, if this gun continues to perform that as well as it has, and I really want that rail system on this gun, I'm going to spend the money. Seeing as it is right now, this rail system isn't bad, and I did find a way to secure it, which I'll talk about in a minute. In the process of trying to get this thing to fit on this upper receiver, I did have to mill out, you'll see it right here, a section on this, or I had to grind off some corner on the upper receiver because it's not a standard upper receiver to get that rail system to fit over there. Turned out it was all for naught because the barrel nut's not deep enough. Once again, wasted time and drama that really isn't relevant, but this gun's been fighting me every step of the way. So, once I realized that the Aero Precision rail wasn't going to work without a lot of modification, I decided, well, we're going to make this one work. So first thing I did was I drilled a hole in the bottom of this barrel nut, the factory barrel nut. I drilled a little indent in there and got a longer grub screw. If you recall, the grub screw that's holding this in place is extremely short. It's really short. So I got a grub screw that was, 3 times longer than the factory one because I have a big pile of grub screws sitting around. Found one that fit the threading, drilled it deeper, and put that one in there. That way, there's some actual meat. There's an actual grub screw that's in some actual metal of the barrel nut holding it in place. It's not just tension on the outside of the barrel nut, it's that grub screw is into a hole in the barrel nut, if that makes any sense. That way, now when you turn this thing, it's rock solid, it no longer moves. Where before, it would have quite a bit of play. Things that have play, such as, whether it be your stock tube or your rail, if it has play, it's going to continue to have play and it's going to get worse, not better. And it's going to move more, not less. So you want it to be rock solid from the start. That was the biggest issue I ran into upgrading this gun. Switched to an A2 flash hider because I'm old school and I like old school basic flash hiders. As far as optics go, this is a Vortex Viper Gen 2 1:6x24. It's about a $550 optic that mounts a $100 standard Vortex. No, not a Vortex. That's a Midwest Industries mount, 30 millimeter. That's right. It's a nice mount. So I think that's about a $200 mount. Now, Rob, why do you have a $750 optic on an airsoft gun? Well, it's because right now I'm trying to get a Vortex, like the cheaper Vortex 1:6, the Strike Eagle, 30 millimeter. Same thing, just cheaper glass, cheaper everything, but more or less the same optic. Perfect for airsoft. That one's $300. Kind of difficult to find right now because of all the shipping issues with coronavirus and China and all that bullshit. It's actually kind of hard to get a lot of real steel equipment quickly. So I've been waiting for quite a while. I've ordered it once, found out it was going to take a couple months, canceled the order, whatever. Sooner or later I will put a 1:6 Strike Eagle on this. So for now, it does have a very nice optic, and one of my real steel rifles in my safe does not have this optic on it, so I can run around and shoot people with BBs through the optic. But it's an excellent optic. It's just too nice for airsoft. Am I worried about it breaking? No, I'm not. They have a warranty. I can just send it in and get it repaired if it does break. The only concern is I'm eventually going to paint this gun, and I'm not going to paint this optic. So I want a cheaper optic that I can paint so everything's, looking the same color and looking all nice and sharp. A quick note on some FPS issues I had with this gun. When I first purchased it and started testing it, reviewing it, there was real inconsistent FPS. Turned out it had a bad O-ring on the piston. A common problem. I don't think that's a common thing for this gun. I think it was just a dumb luck lemon that came out of the factory. Once I repaired that, it fixed everything, had no problem getting the desirable FPS, and it ended up being plus or minus 2, I think is what I ended up with as far as consistency goes, which is very good. Opening this gearbox, as I recovered in the initial review, is a nightmare. It's very difficult. It's got a lot of small parts that are easy to lose, and I would not recommend doing that if you are a novice. This is a very difficult gearbox to take apart, and I'm a decent tech. I'm not an amazing tech. I'm pretty good at it. I've done it for quite a while. I was able to stumble through it, but it did take me a while, and I've learned to be patient with taking apart gearboxes. If you don't have the patience for it, not something you want to attempt. So I upgraded the hop-up unit. I didn't even mess around with the factory hop-up. It was garbage from Go, so I decided to just not even mess with it. I upgraded to a max hop. You can kind of see it in there. First time I've ever used this product, and it's impressive. It's not easy to set up for the most part. You have to have a little bit of mechanical inclination, have some little basic tools, kind of small tools, to remove the pins and set it up how you want it. However, once you do set up the max hop with the right bucking, whatever you may choose, I went with a Modify Soft on this. I've never used these before. They were recommended to me by another player who I respect, and I decided to give them a chance. I typically use, back in the day, I used clear garters, and then for a long time I was using maple leaves, but I said, what the hell, we'll give something different a try, and I'm real impressed with its performance. So max hop, I didn't go with the R hop or anything like that. Didn't mess with that. Just a standard flat nub that comes with the Modify, and got real good performance out of it. The adjustments on the max hop are excellent. They're real stiff, and you can really dial it in every little bit, and it stays put, as near as I can tell. The FPS was a small issue. I think it's because of the longer cylinder, that version 2.5 cylinder. Standard springs were kind of hard to get to sit where I wanted to. I ended up cutting springs, a length of spring a little bit smaller than this, about half the size of this actually. I added to, I believe, an M140 I had lying around, or M130, and I got it dialed in right at 550, which of course is where you want a DMR to be. When I actually went out and fielded it, performed excellent. Seemed to have a lot more range than everybody else out there, which you would expect. I wasn't the only DMR on the field, but there weren't too many that day, and just kind of a good day, good scenarios, and really had lots of range, and was really dominating from some elevated positions on a lot of people with it. Not a good day for them, but a pretty good day for me. Do I think it's the gun? No, I think it's the modified hop-up bucking and that version 2.5 gearbox, which means you don't have to buy the CYMA Patinum SR25 if you want to make good results out of a AEG DMR. I would just recommend you get one of the other version 2.5 gearboxes out there. I don't know how many there are. I think Classic Army still makes one, but this is more a testament. The accuracy and performance of this gun, in my opinion, is more of a testament to the max hop than of the actual CYMA Patinum SR25, for what it's worth. Having said that, I do love this gun. It's going to be a frontline gun for me for quite a while. Hopefully, if I can get the magazines worked out. What is the issue with the magazines? Well, came with this high cap, which is great. It's great, holds a lot. But I'm a Milsim player, and we got to use mid caps and blah blah blah. So, I went to the trouble of trying to locate a magazine that did work. Ordered these. A&K SR25 mid caps. I think they carry about 120. It's a good magazine. The problem I was having with it is it would feel as if it's seated in the gun when you loaded it, right? But then as you started shooting, it would slowly work its way out and then would fall on the ground. Last week I lost 2 of these in the field before I figured out that was going on. Luckily I found them and recovered them. So fortunately I was able to complete that day with just using the high cap. Came home, tinkered with it a little bit to figure out what was wrong. See this window right here? This kind of top part of the window, it is not quite big enough for it to totally seat in the gun and really click in. It would sound like it was in place, like the magazine catch had caught it, but in fact it has not caught it, and the vibration would cause it to fall. So got the Dremel, Dremeled out that window a little higher on the 4 magazines I have, and now, at least testing my backyard, it appears I've fixed that problem. So that problem's fixed. Mid caps work, gun works, optic works, life is good for now. So that is it for the SR25 project. I like where I'm at with this gun. I like the performance I'm getting out of it. It kind of took a long meandering path to get here, and a lot of stumbling and a lot of parts breaking, and you might not want to do that if you're a beginner player. This is probably more drama than you want to take on. More experienced guys who aren't afraid to machine some things and work on some things. This definitely is a good result, and you can definitely get a similar result with any version 2.5 gearbox and this max hop. So what am I going to do in the future? I'm going to paint it. I like painting a lot of my guns. I'm probably going to do a video about painting this gun, kind of a how-to paint guns thing. I'm going to wait till I get that 1:6 Strike Eagle, the more affordable optic that's good enough for airsoft. This is definitely too nice an optic for airsoft. I'll just continue using it until I get that Strike Eagle in, and kind of go from there. So that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching.